See if I can get through this. Good afternoon, everybody. It is 9/11. For a lot of people, this is a somber day because of the losses and tragedy due to 9/11. But this particular 9/11 is even harder. My brother-in-law, Robert, passed away this morning due to what we think or what we believe was some sort of aneurysm. We're not totally 100% sure. We are still waiting for answers. I'm not going to go into details because I don't know them. I just know that, yeah, he was 38 years old. Now, what little I did hear or was told was he was suffering from a form of walking pneumonia. We don't know, or I don't know what caused that. Literally, I was woken up by Jerry in tears, crying, "No, no, no." Now, Jerry is currently in a state of distress. She's waiting to hear back from her sisters in New York. I have not been privy to any of the conversations, only what I've heard from Jerry's side. I was supposed to go into work at 12, but I called out due to the circumstances. I had a speech, sermon, however you want to put it, of sorts, to put it on here, but that kind of got pushed aside. Jayanne has been on her Bible app basically to, I guess, look up different things. She invited me to a reading or an open forum of sorts called Coping or Dealing with Loss, which I fully understand. For those of you who are wondering what I'm doing, it's a all natural inhaler. It's Himalayan sea salt and mint extract. It helps me breathe, which I need right now. It's one thing to deal with the loss of people you don't know. You're there more for the family and the members who knew them than you are there for your own personal close contact. I only knew him for a brief period of time, and granted, we had certain commonalities and common interests, and whatnot, but we weren't exactly, well, he's my brother-in-law. Yeah, I know him. I get along with him. We did have our differences and whatnot, but who can't say they haven't had differences of one form or another with an in-law? Um, I can't speak about Robert much because, like I said, I didn't know him all that well. I knew some of his interests. I knew what he was trying to do with his life. I knew he had, well, every guy has issues with girls. I think what his issue was, he just wasn't one to settle down. He didn't want to settle down with one person. Now, I'm not saying he was a bad guy or anything like that. Just, I don't think he was ready to settle down. And granted, I was almost 30 when I met Jerry Ann and settled down. We've been together, we've been married for 20 years. No. Was I 29 or was I? Yeah, it's been 20 years because we got married in 2000, so I was 29 years old when we got married. But Rob had a lot of stuff up in the air. I mean, he was making good money as a freelance web designer. He enjoyed playing D&D when we first met. He enjoyed a lot of different things. He wanted to learn a lot of different things that you cannot learn in just basic schools. He wanted to learn. He originally went to school for. He wanted to learn dead languages, dead ancient languages that are either not used nowadays or are very rarely used by the indigenous people of, like, he wanted to learn ancient Greek. He wanted to learn ancient Hebrew and ancient various different ancient languages from the Mediterranean. He even wanted to learn old school Japanese. Or was that his father? Because I know Pops was. I call his father my father-in-law, Pops. He was trying to learn Japanese. He was listening to um, audio tapes to learn Japanese. But I mean, all in all, for all the issues that I might have had with Robert, he was a good kid. Now, I feel sorry more for Jerry because Rob was willing to offer up money to help us move out of New York because he knew I didn't want to be there, and he knew that his sister Jerry wanted to move out of New York after her father passed away, which was kind of our big plan. And then Hurricane Sandy kind of pushed us out, but for unknown reasons, Rob and Jerry kind of fell apart because once we left New York, it was almost like we would only hear from, or she would only get a text message once in a blue moon. He wouldn't answer a lot of her text messages. So a lot of information of what was happening with Rob was basically through other family members. And then there was 7 months ago, Jerry was on FaceTime with her sister Alicia, and Rob was getting into her car, and Alicia basically said, "Do you want to talk to Rob?" And she was like, "No, that's all right." She regrets that. Well, there's a lot of things that have happened between the two of them that are kind of regrettable, but for the most part, whatever he was going through that ended his existence, whether it was issues with pulmonary, because there was something said about he was going to go see a pulmonary doctor because he was having trouble breathing. I don't know the full story yet. I just know that right now Sorry. I probably shouldn't be doing it that much, but I want to breathe. Um, right now, I'm trying to give Jerry Ann some space for a few minutes so I can come in here and clear my head, give myself some space, get some Bible reading in to my head. Jerry forced herself to eat something. I'm drinking a protein drink because I don't really feel like eating anything for a multitude of reasons. Jerry has never suffered the deep depression I have suffered in the past. And I'm trying to use all my experience and all my knowledge to help her through. Unfortunately, you can only do so much for a person. You can talk to them and tell them everything you can think of to make things positive. You can try to do things to make things positive, to help her work through her issue. I'm not worried about her doing something foolhardy like suicide. She's not that kind of person. But of course, from my own experience, I was never that kind of person until tragedy hit fourfold. Luckily, there's no luckily about it. Dealing with loss at any given time or any given form or any given number or duration between the loss of a family member or loss of something important that is irreplaceable, there's no knowing how each individual person is going to react until it happens. And this happened on the aftermath, or however you want to put it, of Jerry dealing with certain forms of depression because of what happened in between her birthday and her returning from Texas that was partially in my control, partially out of my control. I'm not gonna bring it up because the fact it's done and over with, and I don't like rehashing things that have been done and over with. I like to move forward. I don't like looking backwards. But at this point in time, when you lose somebody, you do look backwards to that person's life, events during their life, things of that nature. And I guess what I'm dealing with myself isn't the factor of his loss, because it does affect me because it affects her, but it also brings up the memories of those who you lost. Like the memories of my cousin Michelle. Though I did not know Michelle as well as her brother and her parents, she was blood. She was connected to me through family. And I think what bugged me the most, and it bugs me the most about this this tragedy, the death of Robert basically, is both of them were very young. Michelle was early 30s, mid to early 30s. Robert was mid to late 30s. Michelle had 2 kids and a husband and a loving family. Robert had brothers and sisters who loved him, and he had a whole list of things he wanted to do. That and the fact that he was, you know, other than not knowing exactly what his conditions or his situations were, he had a lot to look forward to. I mean, yeah, I can see a lot of things that could contribute to his health issues and whatnot, but the only thing that I got wind of or I caught my ear was the factor, and I don't know if it was he had COVID or he had to deal with COVID in some sort of issue that caused or could have contributed to his walking. Um, Darn, I forgot what I called it earlier because I had the word. Uh, Not walking pneumonia. No, yeah, walking pneumonia. Or some people like to call it the creeping cruds because it's something that just hangs on for a long time. Um, but right now, it's a waiting game to find out exactly what's going on. One thing I did hear was he did not want a big funeral or anything like that. He just wanted to be cremated and whatnot. And I'm like, that's fine and dandy. That's his last wishes to be cremated instead of having a big funeral. But I personally think that even if they don't have all his cousins and aunts and uncles and family members from all over the country, let alone the few that might remember him or might want to come from Ireland or wherever they're from over in Europe to have a wake. But I think at least the brother and the sister should be allowed to get together, as well as the nieces and nephews, to have some sort of remembrance of him, some sort of last hurrah, basically. But was somewhat like his father. His father didn't want a big, you know, party or anything like that. And since Robert doesn't have to worry about leaving behind a wife or a child or anything like that, he has his family members who, again, remember him. We had to dig through some of our stuff from New York to find his social security card number because they couldn't find it in the apartment. Or if they did go to the apartment, he didn't have it someplace easily found, so I don't know what that was all about. I just know that loss of any form, whether it's a brother, sister, mother, father, child, close cousin, spouse, even best friend, it hits hard and it hits home. And unfortunately, it never really seems to hit in the best of times. It always seems to hit during the worst of times. And I'm not saying that was the worst of times for me and Jerry, but just with all the other tragedies going on in the world right now, to lose somebody close to you is makes things a little worse. But I will read something I found as I was going through some of these Bible verses. And I'm going to go read this to Jerry because maybe it wasn't this one. Hold on. I got to look at my notes. That's that one. Here we go. Actually, it's two different ones. I have three different ones, to be honest with you. And it's kind of interesting because these are our Bible verses from Michelle. Uh, the Lord is my rock, my fortress, my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield and my horn of salvation, my stronghold. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? The Lord gives his people, the Lord gives his people, the Lord blesses his people with peace. I think I missed something in there. I have to go back and look. Excuse me. And the last one. You turn my wailing into dancing. You remove my sackcloth and clothe me with joy. Now, I know for a lot of people, and I've asked this question before, why do we, the living, get upset or mad or even just downright feeling a feeling of dread, or not really dread, but the feeling of why not me? I know this much after years of dealing with people dying, even at a very tender age of 13, 14, no, 14, 15, excuse me, when I first experienced true hard, because when my grandfather passed away, we were in Germany, and I wasn't here to stay, so I didn't get to be around people who were dealing with his death. And I'm gonna try to give it in chronological order. First, it was my Aunt Helen. Then a year later was my grandmother. Then a month later was my father, and then Thanksgiving, my father died in July 13th. My Aunt Helen died on Thanksgiving. Was it Thanksgiving Day or right around Thanksgiving of 87 when my father passed away. So I had those four family members die within literally an 18-month period. It was literally, I was blasted with tragedy and blasted with depression and loss and the whole gambit of losing family members. So I know what it feels like to lose people. So I kind of know, I can't say that I'm an expert in this, but I think I have enough field experience to be considered an expert. Now, the dealing with it as in like coping, not dealing with it as in, okay, going through the steps of going to where the person passed away, dealing with the funeral, dealing with the family members, but the coping with it, the expertise of coping with it is still something of each person deals with a differently type situation. So you can't throw a textbook situation on top of this, because I'm sorry, all you psychiatrists, all you people who deal with psychoanalyzing or helping people deal with tragedy, most of you either are using a textbook situation or the factor that you think that because of your training, each individual person can be dealt with the same. No, cannot. I'll tell you this because of my own experience with psychiatrists trying to use their textbook knowledge to deal with somebody of my caliber. Now, I'm not saying that I can deal with Jerry because of her caliber, because All right, yeah, she lost her mom at a young age. Then she lost her father at in her 30s. Now she's just turned 50, and her younger brother of 11 years younger than she is passes away. I can't tell you that I can go back out there and literally tell her how to fix the situation. All I can do is be there for her. I can only do my best to help her cope. I know she feels like all she wants to do right now is pack up a bunch of stuff and go to New York to be with her family. I understand that. Right now, I want to know what's going on first. I want to hear the final situation from out there and then help her make a decision. If in the long run she wants to go out there, whether she goes out there alone or if I literally take some time off of my job to go out there with her, that's something we'll talk about. That's something we'll deal with when it comes. Right now, I just want to get through today. I know I'm supposed to be at work tomorrow. I don't know. It all depends on what happens tonight. Now, am I going to, if I go to work, I should say, if I go to work tomorrow, am I going to be able to function at half capacity because I will be thinking about Jerry-Ann for the most part. I right now, literally right now, everything is kind of up in the air. So I'm like, I just got to remain calm. That's all I got to do is remain calm and keep my focus. If I do go to work tomorrow, I'm probably going to literally ask my supervisor to, one, excuse me for not being all here, and two, I can't demand that she takes it easy on me because even with 3 people, you got a lot of people coming in to get food. You can't just sit there and go, hold on for a second. I gotta go back in I gotta go in the back and take care of something. I can't just do that. I'm pretty sure my supervisor will understand and be like, you know what, just stay home and take care of business. Just keep them advised. So, that's what my plans are. So, yeah. If I did put this video out, you watched the video. Thank you. I'm not going to ask for anything else. Not going to ask for thumbs. I'm not going to ask for comments. Not even going to ask for subscribers. If, again, like I said, if I put this video up and you watched it, thank you. But I have a feeling if I do put this up, this will go up under private and only subscribers will be able to watch this. Because some of you who are subscribers came over from my wife's channel or have learned about my wife or have become a member of her channel. Either way, you may be or may not be a subscriber to her channel. If you're not, that's fine and dandy. I'm not asking you to go over there to subscribe for condolences or anything like that. But anyhow, I will keep you, if I choose to, I will try to keep you guys updated. Until next time, have a good day. Bye.